When the Johnsons moved out of Creech Manor, they didn't care how much they sold the house for. They just wanted to be rid of it. Soon after, another family moved in. Things didn't go any better for them. The husband's now locked up in Wolf Asylum, so the house sat empty for a while. Eventually, some local kids started using it as a party house. Many of them even squatted there for several days at a time. Alice loved the party lifestyle. She came to love Creech Manor, that is, until that fateful night, a night that just so happened to be the biggest party yet. After months of parties with no real trouble, the high school and college kids were less afraid. One of them brought a bunch of quaaludes to mix with the alcohol, and the party was on. Alice watched with intrigue as the group set up a projector in the ballroom. "You aren't going to believe this," said the leader of the group. "I found this scaly footage on the dark web." This, of course, referred to the mysterious live online murder of the influencer known as Scaly. During the dream therapy session, it had been removed by popular video sites, but the clip could still be found in some dark corners of the web. And so the clip of Scaly's wrists opening up was played. The quaaludes and the alcohol were beginning to take effect. Alice watched as the onlookers all fell asleep. She did not partake herself, and when she looked back up at the screen, Scaly's blood and lifeless arms and head were laying on his keyboard below his webcam. The screen flashed, and for a quick second, Alice thought she saw a pipe-riddled hallway with a grotesque figure walking toward her. She shook her head, and Skelly's dead body was back on the screen. Weird, she thought. She left the room. Had she stayed for one more moment, she would have seen 3 holes appear in the stomach of one of the unconscious drug users, blood pouring from the holes as his body began to convulse. Welcome back, friends and scoundrels. I'm Brian.
And I'm Lynn.
And today we're doing episode 3 of the Dr. Fright franchise series thing at Creech Manor with Alice. To the boring bits.
To the boring bits.
Killer, Dr. Fright. Special setup. Set up the game as normal with the following changes when playing with Dr. Fright. Shuffle the boiler room cards and place them face down. Then place the Awake Asleep card on top of the deck with the awake side face up. This is the boiler room deck. Special rules. Awake and asleep. When playing against Dr. Fright, there are 2 important game states to understand, being awake and being asleep. When you are awake, the game mostly proceeds as normal, but when you are asleep, you enter the boiler room, a terrifying dream world where nothing is as it seems. Your current state is determined by which side of the awake asleep card is showing. You will start the game awake. Whenever a game effect says you go to or fall asleep, take the Awake Asleep card and, without flipping it, put it on the bottom of the boiler room deck. Then flip the deck over. If you have done this correctly, the asleep side of the card should be face up on top of the deck. You are now asleep and inside the boiler room. Some tarot cards will cause you to fall asleep, but if you want to go to sleep and enter the boiler room by choice, you can do so by resolving a short rest or a long rest action card. Regardless of the result, apply the normal effects and you fall asleep. When you are awake, not in the boiler room, you can move, search, save victims, and do everything else as normal. Dr. Fright is not able to attack you, and you are not able to attack him. When Dr. Fright resolves a killer action that begins with Victim Final Girl, treat it as a victim unless an effect such as the Dark Power card, the Frightmare is inevitable, allows Dr. Fright to attack you while you are awake. When Dr. Fright resolves a killer action that begins with Final Girl, he will still move towards you but cannot attack you. If a victim is in the space he ends his movement, he will attack the victim. When you are asleep in the boiler room, you may move around the board, attack Dr. Fright, and even search for items. This represents you moving about in the dream and perhaps finding or manifesting an item or weapon. Dr. Fright can now attack you. He will resolve all killer actions as normal. Victims will not follow you, nor are you able to save them. You must resolve 1 boiler room card at the end of the killer phase. The boiler room. In order to kill Dr. Fright, you will have to confront him in the dream world on his turf in his boiler room. No one has ever fought back before, but if you play your cards right, he will soon find out that he can be hurt, maybe even killed. To exit the boiler room and wake up, you must resolve all of the cards in the boiler room deck. You can always choose to resolve as many as you wish during the action phase, including none, but you must always resolve one and exactly one boiler room card unless a game effect changes this during the killer phase. As such, you will have some control over how long you stay asleep depending on your plans. Resolving a boiler room card is simple. You will slide the deck of cards up, down, left, or right such that half or sometimes 1/4 of the next unresolved card is showing. You cannot slide it in a direction that would not reveal any of the card, and it must always be in a direction that such that it extends the previously revealed card. If there is an illustration of Dr. Fright visible on the newly revealed card, he attacks you. It does not matter if he is currently in your space or not, as he is able to reach you within the boiler room from anywhere on the board. Resolve the following killer action. Funnel Girl, attack. You may defend as normal. As you resolve the boiler room cards, you will be able to use your knowledge to possibly avoid future attacks because Dr. Fright will appear in each of the 4 quadrants only one time. You will be able to intelligently reduce the chance of attacks based on your knowledge of the boiler room cards, such that sometimes you may not get attacked at all, but most times you will get attacked once or twice. When you successfully exit the boiler room by revealing all 4 boiler room cards, immediately shuffle them face down and place the Sleep Awake card on top with the awake side showing. Creech Manor, special rules. One-way movement spaces. A few of the spaces have exits in one direction. There are 3 of them. These spaces have white arrows and lines indicating which direction you can move. The spaces are still considered to be adjacent in both directions. You are not allowed to move against an arrow. You can't climb up the tire swing and go back in the window, nor can you go up through the hole in the ceiling in the washroom on the left side of the board. Enemies and victims are also subject to these rules. The rope ladder item, if used, is the only exception and turns a one-way space into a normal space. Window spaces. Window spaces are a new type of space in Creech Manor location board. There are 2 window spaces on the right side of the house and 1 on the left side. Window spaces do not have any special rules, but mini terror and event cards will specifically reference them. The ladder. The cards that refer to the ladder are specifically referring to the ladder on the outside of the building that connects the left exit space and the washroom on the 3rd floor. The ladder leading to the attic is artistic in nature only and is never impacted by any game effects. Inside, outside. All spaces are considered to be inside except for the 3 safe spaces which are outside. Scenario. Tonight we're going to party like it's 666. Final Girl, Alice. Setup, Dancing Queen. Check my work. Items, 12 of them. Mysterious pills, energy drink, Lucky Rabbit's Foot, crucifix, flashlight, a list of things in the padlock, shotgun, knife, first aid kit, candle, ritual dagger. Events, 4. Liquid Courage, starting event. Curiosity killed the people. Lights out. Push to the edge. Creech Manor Terror cards, 4. Something is coming through the wall. The windows and doors just slammed shut. It's coming, it's coming. Something unholy happened in the... Dr. Fright Terror cards, 6. Better lock the door. Grab your crucifix. Never sleep again. Ew, he's disgusting. So sleepy. Marked for death. Dark Power, Pitchfork Assault. Finale, Time to Die. All right, suppose let's get started. Think we got everything,
I
right?
think.
If not, we'll never know. Where am I at? Gotta look around all these people, see what we got going on. I suppose let's try going for a walk and saving some folks. I don't know how I feel about that.
What?
The location of the map this time.
Why is that?
This is interfering with things.
Hmm.
Let's do weak attack and short rest. Let's change this. Move 1 space. These folks. And then go for a walk again. And probably run out of cards. surprising. Oh, I forgot to do my time. Do it for that one. And 2 people off the board already. Could have just taken the ouchie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got 2 things here.
Well, why didn't you look at your card and prepare yourself for that?
Because I never do that. I don't have a habit of it.
What?
All right. We're going to do something interesting here. We're going to move up to 2 spaces. Boop, boop. And then we're going to move 1 space.
Just gonna get everybody saved this time?
That's usually the idea.
But rarely happens. I don't think you flip your final girl very often.
Not very often, no. All right, and I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to take a sprint and 2 close calls. And killer's turn. Victim, nobody kill, terror card. It's coming, it's coming. Target final girl, move 3 times, kill victim, 1 victim in each space that the killer passes through, including its current and final spaces. So we go 1, 2, dead.
Jill ran. Every few minutes she turned and he was always there, coming at her through the hall of the boiler room. There were no turns, no bends, only a straight and narrow pipe-lined hallway featuring valves and steam exhausts that hissed every few moments. She started to wonder if she was moving at all, or was it the walls that were actually moving? She stopped and turned around, but then it just seemed like she was moving backwards. The walls were moving. It was all an illusion. "Wake up!" she yelled at herself. She reached out her arm, burning it onto the pipes, and suddenly she snapped awake. She looked down at the burn, and before her very eyes, her skin began to melt away until she was looking at the bone of her own arm. As the rest of her melted away, she lost consciousness and died soon after, leaving only her bones crumpled in the bed.
When it is a party in an abandoned house, I'm sure they've just got sleeping bags and air mattresses all over the place. Maybe even some bean bags.
I guess.
Okay.
New. Killer turn still?
Yes. No? Panic phase. All that work. All good. Upkeep phase, nothing to upkeep at the moment. So my turn. I guess we're just gonna do a sprint. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm gonna take the failure and use thing. So let's move up to 1 space, take an owie, -2 time, and then stop. Probably about what I was gonna do anyways. So we're gonna save them. We're gonna go ahead and take the 2 time to cancel that effect and stop. Eight. Take another sprint. 2. And think a distraction. Okay, let's see here. Killer phase. Nobody to kill here because they ran away. Grab your crucifix. If you have a crucifix, you may discard it to ignore the rest of this card. Boo. You're gonna target a victim, move, and then attack. We've only got 1 movement. You're gonna target a victim, move, and attack, but there's nobody there. So
1, 2, Frankie's coming for you.
3, 4, lock the door. All right, panic phase. Nobody to panic. Nothing to upkeep. My turn. My turn.
Moving right along.
Talking about my turn. Where do I want to go? Oh, the search space is just so far away. Disagree with this map. You should be able to get back into the garage.
No, you only get to the garage through the house.
I've never noticed that.
That there's no exterior entrance to the garage.
Yeah. Let's go for a sprint. I'm done with you guys. All right. Move up to 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Room feels weird. Should have been my distraction roll.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. Then go for a walk.
I think you mean go for a jump out that window.
Hopefully. Oh, ouch. Oh, shoot. Trying to cheat. Screw it. Close call. Reroll both of those. Guess we'll... Oh. Take that. And, might as well. Go for another walk. Not with these dice. They're evil.
You laid a Fright on the first roll.
Screw it. Ah!
What's that one that's not a health?
Take a cost 2 or less action card. So still take that or take a sprint card, which I think I'm going to do. So that way I can have a card.
That is a choice.
All right. And I'm going to stop there before I kill myself. I mean, at least this one makes sense, me jumping out the window.
That does make sense.
Must have thrown a soap bottle at me as I came through the door. Well, that was eventful. Killer phase, nobody to kill. Terror card, marked for death. Terror card, marked for death. Until the next killer phase, all victims in your space immediately panic. Target final girl, move. Is it going to directly follow me?
Yeah.
I think so. That makes sense. Target victim, attack, nobody there. Dr. Fright did not attack you, and you are awake. You fall asleep. Must have fell on my head and jumped out the window.
Also, you're not asleep, you're unconscious.
Oh, semantics. So, end of the killer turn. I am asleep. You're going to go down and die.
Well, that might be your quickest yet. 20 minutes.
Wow. I suppose that's what I deserve after winning 2 in a row. He was coming for some vengeance.
Yes, he was.
I mean, that's what Alice gets for meddling in spiritual hokum stuff. Messing with the spirits. She did this to herself. I mean, I know she was trying to do the right thing helping the Johnsons, but...
You made a risky choice when you took that card rather than a health. It did not pay off.
It did not. But I also wasn't anticipating falling asleep and getting attacked immediately.
I think you mean unconscious.
Yeah, so that was fun. So anyways, that's been episode 3 of the Dr. Fright series. Short, sweet, and to the point, for sure. If you found any value in this, not sure how, other than that was rather entertaining. Share it with somebody else that you think will enjoy it. Seems like some people might be doing that, because we're getting some nice little bumps in subscribers lately. So thank you to those people. Different ways to support us are down below in the description box. Until next time, live to roll. Or not.